goes. I'm your host, as always, Chad Bordo. Joining me is the Thackeray stylist of the. Okay, that was just terrible. He's Zach Duncan.
Would you like to start over?
I would. He's the Thackeray Tylerist of the Duncan clan. There. Nailed it. Only took 2 tries. I'm like Warren Beatty. I don't ever fuck up. Unless it's about Dick. Dick Tracy was a bad movie. It was so bad.
It was so bad.
I love the aesthetic though. Like, I love the practical effects. I loved like, the way they looked, and like I don't find Madonna attractive. I found Madonna attractive as hell in that movie. Even as like a 5-year-old, I'm like, she pretty. And then I saw her outside of that movie. I'm like, oh no. 5-year-old me is traumatized. Why did you recommend this older version of me from the future? I had no response because I hadn't heard his complaints yet. I mean, obviously, I've heard him now because, you know, I'm recanting what happened, but still.
Do you have a response now? Do you have a retroactive response to your younger self?
Just wait until you get to Pamela Anderson. She can't act, but you won't care. You're going to be just fine, kiddo. And then you're going to find out about the Maori sisters, and you're welcome. Just don't linger too long on the making of Thriller on VH1 in the summer of 92, because you ain't never going to sleep again, kid. You ain't never going to sleep again. Just don't do it. All right, we got a show to run through real fast, so we're going to run through it. Then we'll talk a little bit about the card for No Surrender. And, never give up. Never surrender. We open up with a triple threat. It's Black Taurus, Ace Austin, and Madman Fulton. I'm sorry. Nope, that's not Madman Fulton. I mean Chris Bay. It's a number 1 contenders match for the X Division title. Apparently, the multi-man match from last week, both featured Black Taurus, and there's going to be like another one, I think, next week. These were actually supposed to be allegedly for Sammy Guevara. But he wasn't too happy about it, so Taurus replaced him. That's why Taurus got that big old push, and now he's all like, not doing too much. He's filling in for a douchebag. What are you going to do?
That's unfortunate for him.
I think Taurus is a great addition to the X Division, even if he's not like a long-term option, at least at the moment. I don't want to say he reminds me of Samoa Joe too much because they, yes, they're the same size, but they are vastly different wrestlers. Joe was a submission guy with big throws and who'd utilize, like cross-ring attacks, like, the running boot, was super into like the spinning elbows and shit like that. Taurus is all about power, which you would think Joe was about, but he really wasn't. So like they're similar in body types and body sizes, but they're vastly different wrestlers. But I find the X Division now to be as enjoyable as it's been in almost a decade. What do you think about that?
I'd have to agree. You're right about the comparison with Joe and Taurus. Other than like Joe had the Muscle Buster and he would like do the thing where he waited for the guy to charge at him in the corner and do like a Uranagi.
Oh, yep. The Snap Slam, the Uranagi, and the Muscle Buster. Those were his 3 big power moves.
Yes. Yeah. Other than that, he was a really solid striker and a submission wrestler. Mm-hmm. So very much, Joe and Taurus very different. I agree the X Division is shaping up with the addition of Black Taurus. You have Ace Austin, you have Chris Bay, TJP is a fantastic wrestler, and then you have Josh Alexander, who's also a great Mac technician and a great addition to the X Division. It's getting to be pretty stacked in here.
It's not even just the talent either. I feel like the more found old notes from 2005, and he's like, this works. This is the stuff that worked then. This is the stuff that'll work now, and he's implementing it. Like one of the best pay-per-views of the long ago. Some, oh dear God, 15 years ago.
Oh shit!
Oh, I ordered that show on pay per view. I just kicked my soul in the dick. Ugh, damn it. Was Genesis 2005, and if I remember correctly, Genesis 2005 had um, Daniels, Joe, Dutt, and Shelly, I think, versus like Saban, Styles. Maybe it wasn't Styles. Like Saban, Aries, Strong, and somebody else. The teams aren't right. I'll look them up later. I think the teams were Strong, Aries, Joe, Daniels, and then Dutt, Saban, Jay Lethal, and I can't remember who the fourth one is. And it was an elimination match, and it was awesome. And there wasn't like a storyline built around it. It was just like 8 dudes doing dude stuff. And we got away from that in like '07, and we never really came back to it. And I feel like we're back to that, especially with like the multi-man matches on these Impact Plus events. You're seeing a lot of non-storyline related matches, which is great. Like watching Alexander win that match, 3 weeks ago or whatever it was for what was it? No Surrender? No, that's that next week. Rebellion, Genesis. I don't remember what it was called. But like that was a great Hard to Kill. I think is what it was. But that was a great match.
Yeah.
With Alexander winning that X Division number 1 contender, and there was no storyline, there was no build up, there was no hype. It was just, hey, these dudes gonna do dude things, and it was great. So we're getting back to that, and I really appreciate it. So yeah, Ace Austin wins. He's the number 1 contender. Woo!
The teams for that match were Team Ministry, which was Alex Shelley, Christopher Daniels, Roderick Strong, and Samoa Joe, against Austin Aries, Saban, Matt Bentley,
Oh man,
and Sajay Dutt.
no Jay Lethal.
No Jay Lethal.
So yeah, this is a real good match. That was actually the match that, if I remember correctly, started Joe's bloody towel run. If you remember that.
I don't.
Basically, Daniels stole the win, and Joe beat Daniels so badly he bloodied him up, and then he used his towel that he always carried around with and wiped Daniels' blood off with his towel and left after Styles showed up. Then Joe beat Styles for the belt at, what was it, Turning Point was the December preview. And then Daniels came back, and they did their rematch, I think at Destination X 2006, where Daniel, Styles, and Joe had their infamous No Surrender rematch. And then Joe retained and went into lockdown with the title, fought Sabu, and then he lost in a triple threat, I think, to Loki. He didn't get pinned, but Loki won the belt, so it's a nice little arc, and Joe's bloody towel was pretty iconic at the time. Speaking of bloody, Jazz and Jordan Grace looking to bloody people up. Jazz has been revitalized with her run in Impact, which is a great thing. Speaking of her last place of employment, the NWA, they're coming back in next month, I think, on Fight TV. Not FIGHT, but FITE. Fight TV is the internet one. Fight Network is the cable one. They're hyping up their match with who was it? Fire. No, they're doing the number 1 contender match for the tag titles, right?
No, that was last week.
Yeah,
this week, it was Jordan against Deanna, and it was a triple threat. Jordan, Deanna, and Kira.
ODB. Oh, okay. So yeah, they cut a promo about that. Then we get a Cardona Brian Myers promo. I'm calling it down the middle. Does it go down the middle? We'll get to that. We get Tanil Dashwood with Caleb with a K taking on Havoc. They're still doing the will Havoc and Navia be a tag team anymore kind of thing, and I don't know. What do you think of this one?
The match was not good. Jessica Havoc is so slow and awkward in the ring now. It was very painful to watch.
Yeah.
Even the piped in crowd sounds that Impact uses, though. Even those sounded bored. It's real bad.
Oh, that's not good at all. And you're not wrong. Tanil gets the win, and we hope that this feud will never continue. We'd be wrong, though. So we get Sammy Callahan barging into the Skulls and Bones Wrestling Academy, which is owned and operated by Trey Miguel and his trainer, CK3. Not to be confused with EC3, who just signed a new deal with Ring of Honor. Callahan interrupts a class to confront CK3 and asks him why he taught Trey to be a quitter. They yell at each other, and Callahan snaps and takes out CK3 with a foreign object. A trainee named Sam Beal tries to get in their face. A kerfuffle ensues, and yeah, this is a pretty solid promo. What was a little segment? Well, what do you think of it?
Yeah, I dug it. Now, doesn't Sammy have his own wrestling school?
Yes, in fact, I think he helped train the Rascals.
Yes. So while I was watching, part of me was thinking that this was his wrestling school, but he said that it was owned by Trey Miguel, so I guess he has a different one. But it was solid. I enjoyed it. There's he and what was the guy's name? Sam Beal.
Yeah,
went off to have a little talky, little chit chat. So I guess we'll see what came of that next week.
Should be interesting. Swingers Palace has a little showdown with Ace Austin and Chris Bay. They're like, hey, I could have beaten you if it wasn't for Madman Fulton. They're like, all right, prove it. And we move on. Eric Young makes Diener pay for the consequences of coming up short in his war with Jake something. Diener is being trapped in a room as EY and Joe Doring walk away. Oh, no. That's a dastardly little thing to do. Remember when Carlito and Chris Masters trapped, I think it was Kane, in a room, and then they used like a forklift to press the door closed, and Big Show's like, "I'm coming, Kane, I'm coming. No, don't worry, buddy, I'm gonna get you out." And then Kane just walks up behind him, and then Big Show's like, "Wait, what?" And Kane's just like, "There was another door."
I very much remember that. I highly enjoyed that Kane Big Show tag team until the Spirit Squad came.
Yeah, I did too. Like, that was a great little fucking tag team. I hated that they broke them up and then tried to do like what was it? It was May, I think they broke them up because that's when the Spirit Squad beat them. And then I think they did like a mini feud on that, pay-per-view month for May or June, I think. It wasn't good. What were they even doing? We got an AEW promo that actually seemed to take Tommy Dreamer's advice. Tony Khan didn't spend 6 minutes, shitting on the promotion, so that's good. He actually said that us, New Japan, and Impact Wrestling, we're all the same. It's us versus them, and you know who them is. He did say that you guys used to lead the charge being Impact, but now they got a real leader, a magnanimous leader in Tony Khan. And all right, fair enough. That's a lot more tame than what he's been saying over the last few months. So,
yeah,
at least there's that. We get the tag team champions, the Good Brothers and Finjuice, taking on Triple X and Reno Scum. Oi, oi, oi! It's good to see the Reno Scum back. Of course, they didn't win though. So I'm kind of upset about that. Yeah, they pinned Thornstowe, which also kind of Then again, he's also the smallest dude in that ring by 100 pounds, so.
Fair.
So, there's that.
Yeah. Yeah, Reno Scum and Triple XL got the big JOB on this one.
Yeah.
Those two teams were pretty much an afterthought in this match, so that's a choice.
Well, you know what they used to say, pin me, pay me. Or pay me, pin me. Something like that. After the match, Finjuice and the Good Brothers are all like, hey, you leave those kids alone. And now they got a tag title match at No Surrender or whatever fucking pay-per-view at this point. Sacrifice.
There we go.
No Surrender was the last one. Hard to Kill was the last pay-per-view. That's right. Now I can feel it coming back again. Like a rolling thunder chasing the wind. Name that band. Name the song.
Shit.
I'll give you a hint. You need to answer this live on the air.
Okay, it was live. All right. I was thinking it was Lightning Crashes.
Yes, that's the name of the song. And the name of the band is live.
I just couldn't put that in the context of the song.
The name of the song is Lightning Crashes, and the band name is Live. I've seen them live, actually. Like 10 years ago. They were in with Counting Crows.
Interesting.
Yeah. He still had that wacky little hairdo that he has. We then get Rich Swann, who hypes up his match with Moose on the 13th. Then we get Finn Juice and Good Brother challenging each other for the tag titles. Excuse me. Then we get the Brian Myers versus Eddie Edwards match with Zach Ryder as the special guest. I'm sorry, Matt Cardona. Ooh, no. As the special guest referee. The match ends in disqualification. There's some shenaniganry. Zach, thoughts on this encounter with Eddie and Brian?
To be honest, I was a little more interested in this than I thought I was going to be. Mm-hmm. Just and part of it was because I was waiting to see if like this whole was a long con and Cardona was going to screw over Eddie Edwards and do a heel turn. But that's not what happened. Matt Cardona disqualified Brian Myers for using another foreign object. Thus, Rose McGowan was nowhere to be seen, thankfully. But yeah, it wasn't bad. The storyline surrounding it kind of covered up Brian Myers not being that great of a wrestler, no matter how much Matt Striker says he is.
At least Striker can sell. At least someone involved with Brian Myers can sell.
See, that's why storylines are important. They cover up flaws.
Yes, they do. So, main event time. We get a little promo edge. We head into the main event. It's Pratzo v. Kira v. Jordan. I think this is building up to the triple threat match at Sacrifice. All right.
Well, it's building up really to ODB versus Deanna at Sacrifice.
Jordan and Kira are going to be in the tag title match at Sacrifice. And
yes.
Aren't they facing off with Kimberly and Susan?
I don't think so. I don't think Kimberly and Susan are included in that match. But I could be wrong.
We'll get to the announced matches here in a second. Pratzo defeats Jordan Grace and Kira. I like this match. It was a real good main event match. Some shenaniganry, but it is what it is. You're trying to prolong the big matchups and the big wins and the whatnots. What do you think of the main event?
I dug it. I thoroughly enjoyed the match. I had been thinking for the past couple weeks that Deanna used to actually defend her championship, and even when not defending her championship, she used to actually wrestle and not try and just wrangle Susan from being whatever the hell Susan's trying to be. So it was a good matchup, and I like to continue to see Deanna going over on Jordan, because that's something that you can easily play into down the road of Deanna being like, Jordan's never beaten me. Mm-hmm. There's no way that she ever will beat me. And then you can instantly reignite that feud very easily that way.
Mm-hmm. You're not wrong. So then we go on and Sacrifice next Saturday. Here's what we know so far. Moose v. Swan is going to be a thing. The TNA World Title is officially a title again. Zachary, we weren't on last week, so thoughts on Moose being a world champion finally?
Honestly, did not think it was gonna take that long for that to happen. But I mean, glad it did, and it was a fantastic showing for frickin' Jake something.
He's a stud.
He looked fantastic last week. He he beat Diener in the tables match, and then basically went toe to toe with Moose the entire time. And Moose has just been on a tear for the last couple of years. So
it's almost
good for Jake something. Never would have thought that Diener's heel turn and joining Eric Young would have actually benefited Jake something more.
It's almost like promoting and booking a guy to be strong for a couple years in Moose is better than just 50-50 booking, because even in a loss for Jake something against Moose, it's still elevated Jake something.
Exactly.
It's almost like this shit still works after 100 years.
Shocking.
So right now it is still just a 2-on-2 match for the tag titles. It's Faya and Flava v. Jordan Grace and Jazz. I'm excited for this. I thought this was going to be the final, not the finals, because they faced off in the semifinals of the tournament. But I thought Jazz and Jordan Grace were going to win the belts first. They're now up against Faya and Flava. While they are a good first champs, Faya and Flava, I think as a team, don't need the belts necessarily, or at least don't. They can be like an Edge and Christian champion sets, where they have a bunch of little runs all together while putting over the stars, or not the stars, the faces. And I think that can be what happens here on next Saturday, but we'll have to wait and see. It's good to see Jazz kind of committing to another run. She's not doing it full time, mind you, but she doesn't need to, so that's always a good thing.
Right.
One of my favorite wrestlers in all of the industry, Juice Robinson, is going to have to carry the Good Brothers and Dave Finlay Jr., who kind of looks like a small Ethan Carter III, or at least the modern 2020, 2021 EC3. That's weird, at least in this promo photo. I would love to see Finn Juice win this. I really would, because I love Juice Robinson. But I don't know. We'll see how I feel next week when we do our predictions. Then we have the ODB v Pratzo match as well for the title. And then we have Ace Austin v TJP for the X Division title. Little kind of an update as well. PW Insider. No, I'm sorry. Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Wrong PWI. Pro Wrestling Illustrated has announced that MLW, Ring of Honor, Impact will see all of their divisional titles, essentially male-female tag team titles, be officially given world title status. And for Impact, this is the first time in like 9 years that they've had it. So good on
nice.
Pro Wrestling Illustrated for doing something right. And they don't always do everything right, but you know, that's a step in the right direction. So the Knockouts Championship is world title, the tag team titles are world title, and the Impact world title is a world title. And this is, I think, going hand in hand with New Japan, who themselves are changing their belts and are combining the Intercontinental and Heavyweight into the New Japan or the IWGP World Heavyweight title. And I know that doesn't sound like a big difference, but their titles for the longest time never had the words world in them. It was either the IWGP Heavyweight or Light Heavyweight belts. And now this is going to be the first to be dignified and promoted as a world championship in New Japan history. So big deals. Big deals all around.
Is Okada still champion over there?
Yeah, he has not been champion for like 2 years.
Ooh.
Okada lost to Naito. Then the pandemic hit, and then they didn't do anything for a while. Then Naito came back and lost to Evil, of all people. Yeah. Then I think Naito won them back, and then Kota Ibushi beat Naito for both belts. And now Kota Ibushi's combining the IC and heavyweights into the World Heavyweight titles. So a redesign should be coming as well.
Okay.
Yeah, New Japan's getting a little fancy. As far as Impact news goes, I think that's about it. They're suspending operations, at least for the interim, on Explosion. which I guess makes sense because they're showing matches on Behind the Impact or Before the Impact, whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And they would only show one match on Explosion with just a bunch of filler stuff. So it's pretty much the same idea of a show, just in reverse order of when it airs. I think that's about it, though. Yeah. So we might be getting New Japan on Access TV here in a little bit.
Ooh.
Not exactly sure what's going to come with them, but I'm excited. Could be a thing. Zachary, any other final thoughts you got about the Impact Rooney before we head off for the night?
No, I think that pretty much covers it.
This is a sub 30-minute show, Zach.
What the fuck?
Right?
There were no tangents whatsoever in this one.
No, it was a very smooth episode. I appreciated that. So be sure to check us out next Wednesday for another edition of Making an Impact. RealNerdCorp.com is the website. You can find all of our podcasts and shows on there. RealNerdCorp.com. We're on Instagram at RealNerdCorp, on Twitter at NerdCorpNerdCorp, Twitch.tv/RealNerdCorp, and YouTube.com. Nope, it's Twitch.tv/ RealNerdCorp is one of them, but it's Twitch.tv/Wrestling Underground, and the YouTube channel is YouTube.com/The Wrestling Underground. And if that doesn't work, flip them. And if it still doesn't work, links are on the website. Zachary, you can be found on Instagram and DeviantArt at Radiance2020, RADIANCE2020. I liked one of your drawings the other day, but now
I saw that.
But now I can't like anymore because they got rid of the like option.
Wait, they did?
Yeah. That's what I saw on Twitter. Yeah.
Wait a minute. I mean, I can still like shit.
And let's see.
I mean, everything still has the heart icon on it.
Maybe it just doesn't show them anymore. I just saw something. Mine still has the like option. Maybe it's a slow rollout. I don't know. I'll have to double check.
Maybe.
I'll double check. So yeah, RealNerdCorp.com, RealNerdCorp.com. You can find me on Twitter at ChadNerdCorp, ChadNerdCorp, and on the Instagram it's Chad's Photo at ChedSphotoHut. Be sure to tune in next Wednesday around 8 or 9 o'clock, depending on my schedule, for another edition of Making an Impact right here at Twitch.tv/Wrestling Underground and on the website RealNerdCorp.com. Zachary Tyler, P.P. Duncan. I'm Chad Porto. Zachary, take us home. Or don't.
I'm blanking. I completely blanked on that one.
Good night, Zachary.